Yep, they maintain the same rate. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Market Update on July 24th. Sorry, things are a little bit slow on my end, a little bit this morning. Again, another season, we're starting in the waiting season here, and it was a late last night. The whole day was just yesterday was busy doing that, and this morning got up a little bit late as well, and so I got caught up what's happening in the market so far. And the most important thing that just happened in front of you at 8:15 was the market, the euro rate decision, which they kept in line. They've been decreasing this rate for a while. If you look at this year, they've been decreasing all the way from 4.35, and they have come down to like almost 2.15. This is what Trump is always scrapping about. What the Europeans have been doing, they've been cutting rates, and while the U.S. rate has been holding steady for the last 6 months. So while the Europeans been cutting, the Canadians been cutting, and it's nothing been happening on the kind of American side. So that's what his gripe is about. Actually, this morning he's going to the Fed Reserve. He's going up there to meet some people. So look out for some news. Is he gonna fire Fed chairman? I still think he's gonna fire him if he doesn't leave, because he really wants these 10-year
The
yield.
European Central Bank, ECB,
Ten-
kept interest rates on hold today, July 24th.
Sorry, got too many news things going on here. Yeah, so they're gonna be basically. Trump is gonna be basically going to the Fed, so meet them there. I think this is gonna be more like, give Jerome Powell, a little more push to either him. That's what he rather prefer is rather have Jerome Powell resign rather than to fire him. But I don't think if he doesn't get rate cut on the next week, next Wednesday, I think he fires him. And no, that is a negative point for the market right now. So even though we are hitting new highs, let's take a look at the ES here. Uh, we're over 6,400. With the earnings that have been coming out, this market has been pushing to the upside. So it's going to be a negative side of initially when if they do fire Jerome Powell, but then again they're after that basically they're going to go for rate cuts, and if they're going to do rate cuts, where is the market going to go? Market's going to go to the upside. So a lot of people saying it's a good thing to fire Jerome Powell because they're going to do rate cuts anyways. But the problem is if you lose trust in something like the Federal Reserve, if people lose trust, and that is not good for the long term, because then all the rate decisions are now what they're going to be made by the President of the United States. He's going to decide what he's going to do. So that's the big issue for the long term because they lose that trust. And the federal has been independent since they created that, since the 30s, right? I think in the 20s or the 30s when they created the feds. And since then, they've been basically independent of the politics. So if Donald Trump is going to start his thing, is a lot of people going to start losing trust in the Federal Reserve, and that might not be a good thing for the long term. Short term, the market it's going to push the market to the upside because they are going to cut interest rates. That's why they want to fight Jerome Powell. So what is happening in the market right now is the market also looked at two positive deals that's been happening, one on the Japanese and the other one on the euro. We'll discuss both of them, and they made a 15% tariff on the Japanese cars, and I already saw what GM, Ford, and Stellantis, or what do you call them, or Chrysler, all three of them already made a protest against that because if they're charging 15% to the Japanese cars, in North America the rate is like 25% still between Canada and Mexico because these are homegrown cars here. and they're going to let foreign car makers have a less tariff. So that's what they're griping about. So we'll see what comes out of that, especially the Mexico Canada deal. Is it going to happen soon? Okay, so nothing is coming out of Canada. I haven't seen anything. They've been keeping really quiet. Jolie, I heard a news conference a couple of days. Again, a lot of acquisitions, but nothing concrete coming out of her to say what is going on in the market. So they've basically been keeping quiet while Donald Trump has been saying August 1st is if they don't get a deal, and he's just gonna add on to the tariffs. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully, it's 7 days left. They'll get something done. Uh, but look at the Europeans and the Japanese got done. I think they will get done between Mexico, Canada. I think it'll be a 10% or 15% just right across the board, like everybody else is getting. That's what they're gonna say at the end. Give us 10% tariffs or 15% tariffs, and we are done. And that should, but at the end of the day, if you take a look at it, it's going to hurt the United States of America. Why? Because the rest of the world doesn't have tariffs on each other. The Canadians have a deal with the Europeans. So it's going to be still between Euro and Canada and the Chinese and the Japanese and everybody else. There isn't going to be any tariffs on. So it's going to make things more expensive for the U.S. consumer. Okay. So and things are gonna make more expensive coming out of the U.S. into Canada too, but let's see what happens. So that is the ES. Same thing with the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is hitting the all-time highs again. Google earnings, Tesla earnings. Google came out with initially the stock went to the downside. I was expecting the stock to go to the downside as well. Why? Because they lowered the prices on their the cloud computing. That's why a lot of it. That's where they make a lot of money. But so far they said they cut prices, but they still said they made a good profit in ads and cloud computing, and that's why the stock is up. This was after the conference call. Initially, the stock went down to the downside, but after the conference call, with all the promising this and that, and plus a little more, what's going to happen into the next quarter, that's why the stock is right now is up on 197. I still this stock is underperformed. This is the all-time high. The stock cannot get over the all-time high. Everybody else did. Microsoft did. Meta did. You look at all the technology stock. Even Apple outperformed Google. And if you look all the other M7 stocks, they pretty much did better performance than Google did. So that's why I'm still negative on Google, because they have nothing new that is really helping. Even though they mentioned AI yesterday, but this still isn't really stands out. How they're going to generate revenue, because everybody else is taking their business away. Microsoft took their search engine away with ChatGPT, and cloud business that everybody else has. Amazon has a huge are into. Microsoft is huge into the right. So everybody else, and plus other companies are now Cloudflare, and this whole bunch of other cloud companies that are coming out. They're going to be very competitive against Google. So I don't know where eventually Google will generate revenue, actually break this to the upside. But again, let's see if they come up with anything. They do have a lot of cash to go out and find something, but let's see. And YouTube is still performing real well. I don't know if anybody else looked at the earnings from Google yesterday, but if you got to break it down, YouTube still is doing very, very well. Actually, YouTube can be a company on its own if they can do an IPO on it, or just separate that thing, but that would be a huge loss to Google itself. But let's take a look at what is the 10-year doing on this. Okay, Google, let's go 10-year. On 10-year is going to the upside. This is what Donald Trump is having a heart attack. Every time the 10-year ticks up to the high side, this is happening right now. Why this is going to the upside? The bonds right now, the liquidity in the market is the earnings are showing to the upside, so that means the stock market is very strong to the upside, and that's why mostly this is just pushing a little bit to the upside as well. So 10-year yield, and that's making the dollar strong as well. If that yield goes up, the dollar will hold steady as well. So it's not going anywhere yet either. And let's go down the put call ratio. Put call ratio, look at that SPY, look at the triple Q. They have gone toward the call side, even a little bit on the IWM. So if they're going to the call side, what is market going to do? Market is going up, right? So if you look at the ES and the NQ, both of them are markets are heading to the upside, right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still stuck in this bullish flag. I still expect this to break to the upside. It's waiting for a rate cut. And when that rate cut happens, if it does happen next week, this breaks out to the higher grounds on BTC. Okay, and all the stocks, the rest of the stocks are there with it. Okay, going to the upside. Tesla had earnings out. Let's take a look at some of the individual stocks. What are they going to do this morning? Tesla should be down this morning, and let's see where it is. It is down, sitting at 311, and a lot of it has to do with remember all those when he was involved with Trump, and a lot of the sales went to the downside, and they lost a lot of sales while they're happening. That's why this thing is down this morning. Tesla, let me show you the number. European sales on just alone on Tesla plunged over 33%, and second quarter revenue declined for the second consecutive. So the revenue, like it's not only one quarter. This is the second quarter. This straight. Let's take a look at the financials here and revenue. So this is going to the downside a little bit. It's not like huge to the downside, but it's still to the downside. This is an annualized year, but if you look at quarterly, let me break this into quarterly. I don't revenue. Let's go to earnings here. This is a way of breaking this into quarter. These are this Q1 right there. See, this one was higher. Where is it? They're lower, a little bit lower from the last two. So this is the next one is slated to come in at 24.6, lower 22.5 billion, 19.3 billion, and before it used to be higher. I don't know why they don't show all the. Here we go. See, the revenue was all consistent, very consistent till we got to here, and now this is like a third quarter almost. We are having it picked up a little bit on this quarter, but then again it went on in this quarter. So the overall, it's negative news for plus. Remember, they also took out the benefits out of the budget, right? All those budget benefit that were had, Tesla had, they lost all that, and that's why Donald Trump and both Elon Musk are having a problem with each other. So that is basically the other one. Chipotle came out with earnings. Let's take a look at CMG. Chipotle, and they really came out and said all their same store sales are going to be down in the next quarter. So the guidance wasn't very good, and that's why this stock just dropped. Even though they beat the earnings nicely, the guidance was terrible. They missed a little bit on the revenue side, but they still beat the earnings per share by a cent. So they're forecasting next quarter to be really negative side. Is it an opportunity to buy this thing? Yeah, I think it will be. But just wait for a few days. If it does break down below here, $44, if you're looking for Chipotle and you never bought it, maybe it would be really good around the $36 range. Okay. I think it will come down further. This morning, it's slated to open $6 lower at 46.42. Okay. Dow Chemical came out with earning as well. They actually upped their dividend from 70 cents. They actually they cut their dividend. That's what. Dow Inc. Let me just go to their chart. I used to follow this stock. I don't know if anybody else follows it, but it's a chemical company. They cut their dividend in half, and it's sitting at $27 this morning. They've been really beaten up U.S. chemical side. They're eliminating a lot of chemicals everywhere they use, but still, this is a good company. I think it's somewhere along the way it will become a buy, but not right now yet. So It's very cheap. I think if you look at the numbers, I think they're very cheap. But I wouldn't want to buy them right now. Price to earning ratio is a little bit high. It used to be very reasonable. Look how low it used to be, right? But it's 74 right now. But all these numbers here, price to sales is pretty good. They're still making a lot of sales. The problem is they don't have margins, profit margins. So when you see a number that is under one on price to sales, they're making a lot of sales. Any company is making good sales, but their profit margins are not there. If their profit margins are not there, then maybe you don't want to buy this company. But again, once this number picks up, look for the margins to pick up. That's when Dow will come back to the upside. Take a look at and Chewy. Yeah, we haven't looked at Chewy for a while. We were hot on Chewy. We made some money in it. So let's take a look at Chewy. Chewy has come down to the 37.41. I like the stock, but I like to see it turn around. We bought way back here around the 37, around here, and we drove it all the way up, right? But now it's coming down again. But I'm not a buyer yet. Okay, wait till this thing settles down somewhere, and then we'll take a look at it, see if it's worth getting into it again. Okay, Dow, that is Chewy. And if I like when the stock is coming out, sorry, let me go back. If when a stock is coming like this is not you don't want to buy this yet. You want to see this thing flatten out, and then see if there's buying happening. If there are, if you look at institutional buying, when a stock starts going like sideways, like when you have this here, for example, it's gone flat, right? And then you start getting these big candles here. That's institutional buying. Okay, this is institutional selling because the stock got driven right down and it was going down. And this year, when it goes sideways, the institutions start picking it up. Eventually, they drive the price to the upside. Do you want to see that? Same thing here. Look at here. And you can tell very easily when a stock has going to the upside. They start accumulating. You start getting bigger candles on the volume down here. That's when they start accumulating the stock. So there's no accumulation here yet. The stock is still coming. Wait for the accumulation. That's when you want to get into it. Okay, Netflix. Let's take a look at NFLX. Okay, it's coming down as well. A lot of institutional selling, as you can see. Volume is up. Again, I would wait for it to flatten out. Netflix is a good stock. It's sitting at 1176, but again, it's gone up quite a bit straight up. So I think there's a lot of profit taking here right now, and you can see that there's been a lot of sellers in here. And as long as we continue down here and we flatten out, that's when we want to take a look at Netflix. So I would not be into Netflix right now. Okay, I hope you guys took a profit in it when it was going up. GTX, Gibber Motion. Let's go. It's trying to break out, sitting at 1210. Nice chart. Technically, it's a nice chart. Take a look at fundamentally. What's the stocks? What do they do? Garrett it's in automobile technology in the provisions of design, manufacture. Okay, turbocharged electric motor vehicle. Okay, they're into cars and stuff. Okay, they're based out of Switzerland. Price to earnings ratio, they pay a good dividend. $2.39 billion company. Quickly take a look at the numbers. Wow, these are very good numbers. Okay, the numbers are very good. What about the revenue? Revenue is pretty consistent, a little bit to the downside, but let's take a look at it quarterly. Quarterly is kind of, the numbers are kind of going up. Positive on the earnings per share. Looks like it's recovering nicely to the upside. The fundamentals are good. Technicals are good. It looks like this stock is going to have a breakout. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in it. Who brought that in? GTX, Pai. Jas brought this stock in. Pai, thank you for the rocket. I remember last week, Pai said RKT. I had completely forgotten about that stock. So this stock is a buy here. It looks like it's going to break out. But if you're looking for a swing trade, day trade, then keep a close, check on it. So just it is on the breakout, but fundamentally and technically, the stock does look good. Okay, quickly take a look at Rocket RKT. I'm still in it. It's been moving up nicely. Um, it has come down to 16.21. Yesterday morning, it was sitting at 18 bucks pre-market. After that, it came down a little bit here. I do expect this to go even up further. Why? Because interest rate cuts. This is a mortgage company in the U.S., Rocket Mortgages. All right. So, and I expect this stock to continue. Look at the buying. See how look at, this is what I want to show you guys. Look, when the market goes flat like that, this is all institutional buying. Look how big they look. Compare them to here. Compare all this. All right. Compare all these histograms here, and then you compare all these that's happening here. If they're still doing this, and you got a lot of candles that are going to the upside, and the stock is going down, that's when I want to stay away. But when they're going flat like that, that's accumulation. People who accumulate the stock like this, it's like guys like me. Why? Because when we accumulate a whole bunch of stock here, we buy a lot of it. When it goes up like this, we also like to take money out of it. Like this is from $14, we had it up to $18 rise. And that's what these guys did. A lot of these institutions, they put a lot of money into it. Guess what? When this thing breaks out, guess who's selling it? Right? Guess who's selling it? Those are institutions selling. They're taking a profit. But for the long term, this stock will continue to the upside. Why? Interest rate cuts. So very important to recognize what's happening in the volume here, right? So for a long term, when you buy for like a more than a week stock, take a look what's happening on the things here. And as soon as I saw that last week when you brought it up, and right away I said buy. So if you all bought last week, fantastic, and you should be in profits. And I see a further upside. NFI, take a look at that one. Nuclear, no, NFI Group. Stocks ready for a breakout. Okay. Really a nice W here. Was a really nice breakout above here, back here on a W. This is what you want to see. If you see a W like this, I know everything never is perfect, right? A lot of people wouldn't say this is W, but I'd say it's a W, right? But then when it starts doing this to the upside, that's when you want to buy it here. Okay, this is where you want to buy. This is look at these candles. This is where they start accumulating. See that? See that? This is where they start buying. And then all of a sudden there was a big sell-off there, but still this was accumulation. This was accumulation. It never got where you want to get out is when it breaks it to the downside. Let's say it broke below here. That's where you might want to get out. But this was another great. So if you see a stock W like this and it's doing this, that's when you want to buy it. Okay. That is right now. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. Can this stock continue to the upside? Yeah, price earnings are good. Positive, negative, no, positive. Revenue steadily up, 4 billion. Overview, $2.28 billion company. So it's got only 0.5 price to sales ratio, which is like, again, they're selling a lot. Their profit is, the margins are low. So what is this company doing? Zero emissions base code. Okay, what are they into? Busing or something? Yeah, look like they're into busing. They're manufacturing transit buses. Yeah, coaches. Okay, so they're into buses. $2.28 billion company. But let's take a look at these numbers. These numbers are pretty. Look at that price to sales ratio 0.5. Price to earnings ratio isn't there. Take a look at it. Why it should be there, because we got positive earnings on this. Price to cash flow is a little high, but that's fine. Price to book is good. I like it. Does it pay a dividend? No. Statistics statement. These numbers are all green. That's fine. Strong for balance sheet is good. They're growing total equity, which is good. This number should go down, right? But we like to see it go down, but like this here, like this. But again, if you're gonna bring revenue up, a lot of times you also have to spend a lot of money. Okay, so that overall looks really good to me. Really look good to me. Fundamentally is good, and that's why it's maybe trying to break out to the upside here. If it does break out, yeah, I think it will continue to the upside. So, what price? Looking at around 19 and a half or $20. 19 and a half or $20 is gonna have a nice breakout. Tap is the beer. This is Molson. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Still recovering from. I like this company, very cheap compared to all the other Budweiser and all the other companies. I think this is a nice little bit lift off. And the summertime, people are buying beer. Numbers usually are pretty cheap on this company. If you look at the statistics, they're very cheap numbers. Okay, it's been cheap for so long like that, but it's a cheap company. It is really a cheap company. Good revenue, gross 12 billion. Their market cap is 1 to 1 ratio, pretty much close to 1 to 1 ratio if you look at this, 0.93. Yeah, so I would definitely be a buyer. I think it's too cheap, and it's making a nice. This is what I like to see when if the stock likes to recover, like a turnaround. This is what I like to see. Again, if you take a look at this zone, look at these little histograms. They're starting to accumulate this stock, right? They did a little bit of accumulation back here, but they couldn't push the stock price higher. But they did a lot of accumulating here, and they're still accumulating. And this stock is going higher because there's a little more accumulation here as well. Okay, there was accumulation here. They pushed the price up. The problem with this stock is it doesn't have a lot of trading, and that's why they have to be very careful when they're buying these shares of Molson. And this looks positive. It looks good, buddy. I would buy it, definitely. All right. TPB. Thanks for. Buddy has really brought in really good stocks in the last little while. Really, he actually always had brought good stocks. So that I don't know how Buddy searches his stocks, but he brings them up pretty good. Maybe he need to show us how he finds all this stuff, right? So let's continue with the TPB. What is this one saying? Ready to break out. There's another one, 89. This is where the breakout is, 81, 82 bucks right there. It's sitting at 80.99 right now in the pre-market. So chart looks really good, but let's take a look at fundamentally. Is it going to break out to the upside? Okay, let's take a look at the statistics. Okay, and fundamentally the numbers look good. Price to sales ratio is a little high historically. Okay, historically it's high. Why? Because the stock is also sitting at the high levels as well. Cash flow is a little bit high as well. Book value is a little bit high. So these numbers are a little bit expensive, but technically the stock is really, maybe the expectation is stronger. Earnings are picking up. Revenue, this one here is actually forecasted to be lower. Okay, so just be careful. I actually like the other stocks much better. Again, this could be just for a breakout play if you want to play. But again, it's not as fundamentally strong as much as the other three stocks were. So again, be careful. Want to play it? Keep a tight stop loss. When a stock breaks out to the new highs, sometimes we don't know how high can it go, right? We don't know how high it can go, and that's a problem sometimes. Because that's why you have to put a really tight stop. Okay, really tight stop on those ones. Take a look. DVA quickly. I think I've seen this stock before, but I don't remember. Been a while. Chart looks fine. It's recovering from the bottom, making a U-turn to the upside. Let's take a look at it fundamentally and what the stock does. So let's see if it can continue that. This is medical. Actually, I think Warren Buffett used to own this stock. I don't know if he still owns it or not. He used to own this stock one time. That's why I remember from a long time ago. It's $11.42 billion company. Take a look at fundamentally. The numbers are pretty good. Price to sales. That's a really nice number. 5 point cash flow is good. I like the cash flow is pretty much held steady, and price to earnings ratio. Let's take a look at the earnings here. Earnings are expected to go higher. Okay, last 2 quarters they had a nice beat. Same thing with the revenue. They actually didn't do too well here, but all the other quarters they have really done well. That was a while ago. So it looks like a company looks fine. They're medical maker, they're in healthcare. You're gonna always need a company like this, and they're reasonable price. Yeah, and the chart is turning around nice to the upside. Okay, by CYN, let's take a look at that one. Oh, buddy, why you bring this stuff like this is a terrible chart. Trying to recover back up. Okay, what do they do? They're into software, multiple vehicle types. Okay, what about revenue? 400K. But yeah, I would stay away. No dividend. Look at the balance sheet. Balance sheet is improving. Okay, balance sheet is going to the upside. They must have done something here for the stock to recover. Look, they did a reverse split back here. I don't know. I would stay away from companies like this. This did not only one, it did a two reverse splits, 3 reverse splits. Oh man, I would just dump this out of your thing. There's so many other companies out there better. Quickly take a look at TIGO. Wow, nice chart. Breaking out, heading new highs. Yeah, nice breakout. They're into cellular business, so let's see what they do quickly. Cellular business, okay, mobile, 7.33 billion. Statistics, numbers look pretty reasonable. Yeah, revenue going up, $6 billion company. So they have a nice growth, pretty 1-to-1 ratio on the price to sales ratio, right? Almost 1.23, which looks good. Looks good to me. I mean, it even has a dividend, 7.05%. So where are they based out of? Luxembourg. They're in Europe. Okay. Looks okay to me. Now, it doesn't excite me, but looks okay to me. But the chart is breaking out, technically breaking out nicely. Okay. So yeah, not bad. So guys, I need to take a break. I got about 12 minutes to get ready for the market. Again, I'll see you guys at 9:30. I will talk about more stocks then. And I want to talk about the stocks we own, like CNR. Should we buy? CNR is a buy. Okay, still a buy. And if I'm taking quickly, take a look at the other stocks. Double A has reached $32. I think this stock's still a buy, but wait for the tariffs. Wait till this settles between U.S., Canada, and Mexico. I see this stock going to $40 range again. AMTM is sitting at 25.50. I don't know what's wrong with the stock. They should be breaking out. I brought up my cost on it. I bought some more to the upside, but let's see what happens. But I'm just getting a little bit fed up with it, holding it too long. And Archer Daniels has gone to 56. My buy has been come down a lot. I'm actually in profit on this one. Remember 45, 46, 47 bucks. I kept on saying buy because it's a solid company. Now it's sitting at 56. I hope you guys bought too. TD sitting around at 102. I think after these tariffs settle and these interest rate cuts, these banks will continue to the upside, I think. So I think I sold a lot of TD, but I buy a lot of shares in TD, so I'm still hanging on to some. BC, the telecom sector is what I want to talk about today. And if you look at all the telecom sector, T-Mobile came out with earnings, Verizon came out with earnings this week. All of them, and AT&T came out with earnings, and all of them looked pretty good. And that's going to help the Canadian sector in the mobile, because our sector's really been beaten up. You look at Bell Canada, you look at Thales, you look at Rogers, they have all been beaten up. And I think it's time to buy some of them. And number one on my list right now is Thales. Okay, and we'll talk about more of that at 9:30 when I'm done here. So I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes. Thank you.
All right, what's up? Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well here on this Thursday morning, ready for markets. So, pretty interesting overnight session as expected. We got some major earnings after the close yesterday. We had pretty much mixed results, right? Tesla coming out with a very negative revenue growth, possibly the worst in its 10 years. So, we'll see that kind of came out with the initial bang to the downside. And then we had Elon kind of over the call, sounding very dull, very pessimistic, couldn't really save the company there, creating some downside in Tesla. But on the opposite end, we have Google reporting a beat on revenues, good growth on their YouTube ads, good growth on their cloud space. So kind of the opposite reporting with good numbers out of the gate. And then we also had then the CEO also announced additional capex spending here in the AI sector. So through that sound, we are getting kind of some mixed results there on the earnings. Google to the upside, with Tesla facing some downside. Some other names also, IBM faced some downside as well. We had CMG also facing downside, but then T-Mobile some upside. So it was a pretty mixed batch. And right now in the pre-market, kind of have the Dow Jones open here as we are seeing some downside caused by this news that Gurkha had shared with United Health facing DOJ investigation over Medicare billing practices. So this is causing some downside here in the YM, the Dow Jones sector, which kind of caused this spike in downside that we saw in markets as well. But overall, things still holding up pretty well. We'll take a look at the charts and then we'll see what the key levels are for today. But before I do that, just gonna do a quick reset. And then if you guys want to switch over, you can. All right. So again, a mixed bag from earnings, but prior to those earnings numbers, we did have a run up in the market, right? Yesterday in the afternoon, we were kind of seeing this very slow conviction grind up, and markets were pushing new all-time highs, right? Especially the ES, the everything else market was kind of leading higher. You were seeing kind of this optimism in industrials. You had a lot of possible positive news after the close, right? Trump had also announced the AI kind of investments. Didn't really make any groundbreaking news. Pretty much just kind of touted how America is going to be a leader in the AI space and pretty much his past accomplishments, right? Kicked off the announcements talking about Europe and Japan and the big deal that they had made. So pretty much it was just a conference of him touting his own horn, not really, seeing any big widespread news. But due to again Google's additional kind of capex spending, markets kind of did see some optimism, and we're kind of holding here near those all-time high levels. So key levels we'll be watching here on the ES is kind of, first of all, we're watching these overnight lows, which is now at 63.91, 63.86. If these levels can hold, we'll see if markets want to maintain kind of this bull flag structure that we're seeing here on the hourly. And if we can click sideways consolidation, we could just as easily break 64.07 and see clear skies above, right? There's still no reason in this market, even though we're seeing a little bit of a dip here pre-market due to this UNH news from a longer term perspective, to be overly bearish, right? We're still holding the key averages. We're still seeing higher highs. We're seeing now markets consolidating your all-time highs. So you don't want to be, guessing on top to see where the market goes down, right? Keep your eyes on key support levels. See what price does at those levels, and then we'll see, take things kind of on a level-to-level approach, right? If we start to see a bit more bearish sentiment come in, if we start to see some of the major tech leaders like Tesla continue this downside, if Google starts to give it up a little bit, or if we start to see Nvidia fall, then I'll be even more concerned about the market from a longer-term perspective to then see if we can catch the short trades. But as long as these names continue to hold up, as long as we kind of see the leaders continue to lead, the laggers start to break out, then the market could continue to run here as well. So on ES, on the S&P 500 futures, for today's trading, the key level we're watching for is this 63.78 demand zone. As long as that holds, we'll see if markets want to keep up this bullish pressure, see if we can make a move back towards that all-time high 64.07, and in the extremely bull case, is we hold at 63.86 and then maintain this move higher. Where I'll become more pessimistic and more bearish is if we see kind of this move that's kind of been leading in the pre-market due to this UNH news. If we start to see sentiment pick up on the 5-minute, 50-minute time frame, and we kind of get like a direct test of the 63.78 level, potentially a lower high underneath overnight lows, and then we see a break continuation lower back into kind of this week's chop range, right? We kind of developed this short-term base here in the past couple of days, got that breakout yesterday. It was a very slow breakout, right? If we were kind of looking at it, momentum was pushing to the upside, price action was telling us upside as well, but it was a very low conviction move as we weren't seeing, wide market participants, right? So just as easily, if we do start to see selling pressure pick up, some sort of bearish catalyst come in, we could see a quick move to the downside as well. So key level we'll be watching is that 63.78 demand zone, also kind of marking prior swing highs here, right, on the hourly time frame. So if we do see it hold, we'll see if this uptrend remains intact. We'll see if markets want to keep giving us new all-time highs. If it breaks below, there could be some fuel to the downside. First key level on the downside would be the 63.53, marking that run-up area and yesterday's lows. And if we lose that, then we can make a move towards that 10-day, which is kind of coinciding with that 63.30, as well as the key weekly level, which was previous Friday's lows at 63.23. So we are forming an up week, right? We are forming an up day. Trend is still bullish. We're still holding key supports. So there's no reason for us to think short, right? In this market, you do see a lot of new traders thinking that, okay, we're kind of exhausted, that we have to pull back, right? The market doesn't have to do anything. As long as we're still seeing optimism, as long as that, America is booming, kind of sentiment is in the markets, you're going to see a continued rise, right? Names like NVIDIA, names like Google could just continue to lead markets here at these recent highs, right? Even you're kind of seeing in most reports that we're not even getting widespread market participation in this run-up. It is your select leaders, it is your big names that have a majority position inside these indices. That's what's continuing to lead here. So if we do start to see everything else pick up, if we start to see Dow Jones maybe turn around or the small caps start to pick back up as well, then markets could continue to be elevated at these levels. So we'll see how it plays. Again, extreme bullish case, see if we hold 60.91. If we do got a bull flag here set up. We'll see if we push towards 64.07. If we do lose it, look for a higher low above 63.78. But below 60.78, things get a bit more choppy, a bit more messier. We could see selling pressure towards that 10-day at 63.29. So still maintaining a risk on for our swing trades as well. If you do see, a strong setup, if it gives you that good base with a strong volume, then it definitely could be an opportunity here. But in this scenario, just because we're kind of reaching the late stages of this rally, right? If you do zoom out to the daily, we are kind of, a bit extended here from some of those key averages as well. So in this kind of stage, I'll be looking to, lock in profits quickly, right? If you hit your profit target, if you hit your, to your 20%, your 15% return, depending on your risk reward, my recommendation would be to lock it in, just because we could see quick turnarounds, and also a lot of these setups, we could see, quick, breakouts met with quick failures. So we'll see if momentum continues to hold. Even right now, pre-market, we are getting kind of a push up hold in this range. So we'll see if the bullish momentum here continues, right? Not really in this market, not really seeing, overly aggressive buying come in, strong demand, but we're just seeing weak sellers, right? We're not really seeing supply come into this market either. So we'll see how markets want to position themselves. Also, interesting enough, we don't really have much economic data in the remainder of this week, right? We do have some PMI numbers that to come out now around after the open at 9:45 and at 10 a.m. We're going to see some numbers come out. But other than that, there's nothing really else left here for the week, right? But next week, we're going to get some really strong data points, right? We're going to get Monday, Tuesday, possible US-China trade news. On Wednesday, we're going to get FOMC and Meta earnings. And then on Thursday, we're going to get Amazon and Apple earnings. And then on top of that, throughout the week, on Friday is when we're going to get the tariff-related deadline, right? So we're kind of like into a week, into a couple next days, today and tomorrow, where we could see very like range-bound action where, price wants to build up that momentum. And then we'll see if next week, which way does that spring quote go? Do we see clear skies? Do we see continuous uptrend and new highs continues in the market? Or do we get that bigger pullback to test some of those key averages, which we've been watching for? So we'll see how it plays. Again, a lot of unknowns. We could see volatility today, but just keep note that it is, again, another quiet session besides those morning data points. And we are coming into some heavy data next week. So we'll see if we get that market participation here or not, right? So keep a close eye on volume, keep a close eye on volatility, as those will be kind of key gauges to watch for, especially if you guys are day trading in this market, okay? So that is major equities. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. right? Major move there. As we kind of saw this slow grind up, right? So a lot of strong anticipation for its earnings, but unlike the ES, Nasdaq wasn't able to get above those recent highs, right? Tagged it in the overnight session, saw a bit of a pullback here now, but still maintaining within this range. We'll see if bulls want to step in, see if we get that break up that all-time high level, or does downside continue, right? So again, just mixed signals as Google, right, booming, going to the upside, attempting to fill that upper gap, getting good earnings, good revenue growth, but then Tesla kind of being dead weight here, not letting it push up too far. So we'll see what happens within this range. Anything in between kind of this overnight range between 23,326 and 23,426 all-time highs. Just consider it very level to level action, very sideways range bound market, as again, we're not really seeing strong kind of demand come in, trying to push things up, but we're not seeing strong sellers here either. So we'll see what happens between these levels if it continues to base build as we come to big data points. If it does hold here and if we see some optimism come in some of these tech names, if conviction is strong, then I'll be looking for a break off this supply zone as it
Good
is
morning,
fairly
ਭਾਜੀ।
tested, right? Tested once on that run up that we had yesterday, pushing right
ਮੇਰੀ
into that
ਮਾਈਕ
level.
ਮਿਊਟ ਕੀਤਾ
Was
ਹੋਇਆ ਜੀ
expecting either,
ਹੈਲੋ
Good morning.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਭਾਈ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਭਾਜੀ ਤੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ ਜੀ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ indices.
The information shared in this content represents the personal views of the author and guests. It does not reflect the opinions, ideas, policies, or views of PBC Punjabi Business Channel or its staff. The content provided is for informational purposes only, and this should not be accorded as a financial advice. The accuracy or completeness of the information presented or accessed through any links is not guaranteed by Punjabi Business Channel or the host. Punjabi Business Channel and the host are not liable for any errors or omissions in the information or for any consequences resulting from its display or use.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਚੈਨਲ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਸਟਾਕ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਤੇ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਟਾਕ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਨੇ ਜੀ ਦਵਿੰਦਰ ਸੋਹੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਰੋਮ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਗਿਨੀ ਐਂਡ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਜੀ
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਭਾਜੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ ਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਨਸਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ ਕੀ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ
So market hitting all time highs, new highs. 6 6400 ਤੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਚਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ. More earnings came out from Tesla, IBM, Google, big companies. Pretty strong growth, except for Tesla. But all the companies are pretty good. The still the one of the biggest thing is lacking. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ earnings ਵਿੱਚ lacking ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ actually guidance ਜਿਹੜੀ future guidance ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਆ. ਸੋ ਕਈਆਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਾਲੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਈ ਟਾਰਫ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਅਪ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਚੇਨ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਟਰਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਸੋ ਦੇ ਵੇਟ ਐਂਡ ਸੀ ਬਟ the ES you can see that it's hitting the all-time highs in front of you. It's still further risk on day to day because we still have a lot of earnings that are coming out in the future and this week. Amazon, everybody else is still coming out with earnings as well. But again, we'll talk about those earnings and take a look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is also hitting their new highs. ਬਟ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਕੈਂਡਲਾਂ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਬਣ ਰਹੀਆਂ, ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਦਮੇ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਉੱਪਰ ਨੂੰ ਜੰਪ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ,
ਜੀ
ਉਹਦੇ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਉੱਪਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਆ। ਦੈਟ ਇਟਸ ਹੋਲਡਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੀਟੀ ਸਟੈਡੀ, ਬਟ ਅਗੇਨ ਇਟ ਬਿਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਵਿਦ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਵਿਦ ਅ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਥੀਸ ਸਟਾਕਸ।
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ। ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਕਮੋਡਿਟੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਵੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਬਣ ਰਿਹਾ। ਗੋਲਡ ਤੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਗੋਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 1% ਦੀ ਗਿਰਾਵਟ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਿਲਵਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ 1% ਦੀ ਗਿਰਾਵਟ ਆ। ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਗੈਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 1.5% ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦੀ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਬਣ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਕਾਪਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਪਰ ਸਟੇਬਲ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ, ਫਲੈਟਿਸ਼ ਰੈਡ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ। ਕਰੂਡ ਆਇਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਕਰੂਡ ਆਇਲ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਅੱਜ 1% ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਬਿਟਕੋਇਨ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਵੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਲੋਕ, ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਕਰੂਗਾ ਹੋਰ ਹਾਈ 1,19,000 ਤੇ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ।
So looking at the Bitcoin is sitting there. This is still a bullish flag to the upside. So
ਜੀ
what is Bitcoin waiting? Well, Bitcoin is waiting for the liquidity into the market, and one way to gonna get liquidity into the market is by maybe settling down the tariffs, and eventually what that rate is gonna be. If they can settle down, they had a couple of settles down yesterday. They had a Japanese and the European markets, but also this thing is looking for interest rate cuts. So if you can get interest rate cuts, I think Bitcoin will pop up to new highs.
ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਘੱਟ ਨੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਜੋ ਅੱਗੇ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਕੁਇਡਿਟੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਦੇਖਾਂਗੇ, ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਬਿਟਕੋਇਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ। ਤੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਆ ਗਏ, ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਇੱਕ ਦੋ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ
I
ਤੇ
think,
ਬਾਕੀ
Guinea, so let's talk about some earnings before we, there are a lot of earnings come out,
ਜੀ
especially if you look at Google and you look at Tesla and you take a look at IBM. A lot of earnings have come out. So I think quicker review of one of the T-Mobile. This is a sector that I'm very hot on
ਜੀ
now because ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਆ Guinea bottom ਤੇ ਇਹਨੇ hit ਕੀਤਾ. So sector is turning around. T-Mobile had great earnings. We saw Verizon earnings come out this week, and we also had AT&T earnings. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਮੈਂ ਕਾਹਤੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੈਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਤਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਟੈਲੀਕਾਮ ਸੈਕਟਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ BCE ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਟੈਲਸ ਦੀ ਜਾਂ ਰਾਜਰਸ, ਇਹ ਵੀ ਥੱਲੇ ਆ ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਬਾਟਮ ਤੋਂ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਬਣਦੀ ਆ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ, I think this is a good time to maybe DCA it back to the upside eventually. And my number one on the list of the three stocks that I think Thales is recover, I think much faster than maybe Rogers or maybe Bell Canada. But again, I think you can't go wrong, and all three of them have a pretty good dividend, especially Bell and Thales. Even though Bell cut its dividend, but they're still holding a nice dividend. So that's why I'm talking about this whole telecom sector. It's really been doing so. On the other hand, you look at Google earnings. Google had pretty good earnings, but ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਆ, ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੂਗਲ ਦੀ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਲਾਊਡ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਹੈਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕੁਆਰਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਾਂ ਘਟਾਈਆਂ। ਜੇ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਾਂ ਘਟਾਈਆਂ, ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ they're competing with a lot of companies out there, especially in the cloud business. You look at Amazon, you look at Google, you look
ਜੀ
at Microsoft. They're competing against each other, and Cloudflare. There's so many other companies. So that's becoming a little bit negative for Google. But again, business like YouTube, search engines, the ads, they're still doing pretty well. But again, there are a lot of companies that are competing against that.
ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਸਟ ਤੇ ਟੈਲਿਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ। ਟੈਲਿਸ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਆਪਾਂ 22 ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਸਟਾਕ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਨਫਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਜੀ? ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ $22.93 ਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ, ਜੇ ਇਹ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਨਫਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਣੀ ਆ। ਤੇ ਜੋ ਕਾਫੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੋਂ ਰੇਂਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ, ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਲਾਸਟ ਈਅਰ ਸਪਟੈਂਬਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ 1 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੇਂਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ, $19 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ $22। ਤਾਂ ਭਾਜੀ $23-24 ਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹਨੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਕਰਨਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਮੂਵ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਡਿਵੀਡੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਡਿਵੀਡੈਂਡ ਵੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਹ 7% ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦਾ ਪੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, 8% ਦੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ। ਤਾਂ ਟੈਲਿਸ ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਪਿਕ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ।
Yeah, so I'm looking for Thales to break out this trend line to the upside.
ਜੀ
And once it breaks to the upside, I think it's going to be a nice one to the upside. So I got alert on this trend line, and I'm sitting on it. As soon as I get maybe more, I already hold Thales. I also hold Bell.
ਜੀ
I don't have Rogers, but I hold those two. And I'm looking for this breakout. And you can actually put if you are if you have any charting program out there ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਡਿੰਗ ਵਿਊ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ
ਜੀ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਲਾਈਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਲਰਟ ਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਦੀ ਟੁੱਟ ਗਏ ਨਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਲਰਟ
ਜੀ
ਭੇਜ ਦੇਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਈਮੇਲ ਲਾ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਫੋਨ ਲਾ ਲਓ ਸੋ ਦੈਟਸ ਵੇਅਰ ਯੂ ਵਾਂਟ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਵਾਂਟ ਬਾਈ ਦਿਸ
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਰੀਆ ਭਾਈ ਆਹੀ $22 ਦਾ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਲਰਟ ਲਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਰਾਈਟ
So right now the way it's looking is around 20 to 25.
22 25 ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਏਰੀਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੂਗਲ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਗੂਗਲ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੇ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਏਰੀਆ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਰੈਜ਼ਿਸਟੈਂਸ ਏਰੀਆ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ 196 ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਬਣੀ ਆ ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਡਾਊਨ ਆਇਆ ਬਟ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਬਣੀ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਵੀ ਬੀਟ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 5% ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੈਵਨਿਊ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 2.5% ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੀਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਭਾਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸਟਾਕ ਬਟ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਭਾਈ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ 205 ਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਬਣਨੀ
So Google, again, I'm negative on Google because they're competing with so many businesses that they used to have one business, which was a search engine. They used to lead in. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ
ਜੀ
ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਇਹ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ChatGPT ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਟੇਕ ਓਵਰ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਲਾਊਡ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਆ ਇਹ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਾਫਟ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਹੋਰ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਸੋ
ਜੀ
ਉਹ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੈਮਨਾਈ ChatGPT ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ YouTube ਹੈਗਾ ਗੂਗਲ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ ਹੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਸ ਸਟਾਕਾਂ ਦਾ
ਜੀ
ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਗੂਗਲ ਦਾ ਸੋ if you look at the chart and you compare it with the rest of the M7 stocks Google probably one of the worst performers
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਐਵਰੀਡੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਗੂਗਲ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਰਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਰੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਪੇਅਰ ਕਰੀਏ ਮੈਗਨੀਫੀਸ਼ੈਂਟ 7 ਸਟਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ
yeah
ਤੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਟਾਕਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਹੋ ਡਾਊਨ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਫਿਰ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਦਾ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ
Tesla is negative. Why? Because Elon Musk went to work for Donald Trump, and
ਜੀ
ever since then, remember when he got elected? He got him elected back here in November. Look where the stock went. Once he became involved with Donald Trump, the stock's been hit low and then come back up again. But
ਜੀ
again, Tesla. Remember also. The U.S. took all the benefits for the electric car makers out of the
ਜੀ
budget, and that is also another driving force of this stock to the downside. And I think, and plus, if you look at the European sales, they're down almost over 33%. And when you see those kind of drop in sales numbers, and you're looking at more negative news coming into the stock, I would not be a buyer right now. And this morning, the stock is showing roughly about $12 to the downside. And can it come further downside? I think under 300 is not out of the question.
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਭਾਜੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ 300 ਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਮਤਲਬ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਡਾਊਨ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ 310 ਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਬੈਟਰ ਨੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ 0.5% ਨਾਲ ਬੀਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਰੈਵਨਿਊ ਵੀ 1% ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੀਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਬਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਹੋਰ ਸਟਾਕ ਡਿਸਕਸ IBM ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ IBM ਵੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ IBM ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ
IBM, they beat the numbers per share, $2.80. Revenue, they beat by 410 million. IBM is a very good company, but a lot of people are not very familiar with the technology that this company has. So I think a lot of people are misguided, and the stock is down this morning from almost $20. So I do expect this stock to turn around, and if those people that don't own IBM, I think it will be a chance to own at lower price. Eventually, this is the next $1 trillion company that I see that is going to eventually go happen. One of the biggest technologies that I'm talking about is the blockchain technology. Never mind the Bitcoin, never mind the Ethereum that trades on the blockchain, but blockchain technology can be used for many other things. If you want to trace any records of anything, this is a blockchain for you. And a lot of companies and a lot of I think outlets out there are starting to use their technology. So $20 to the downside is mostly probably some guidance, but other than that, they beat the numbers pretty good. So I'm looking for an opportunity if the stock comes down further to buy more because I already own it. I'm looking to buy more.
ਜੀ। ਤੇ IBM ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਭਾਜੀ, ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ। ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਨੇ ਭਾਈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਚਾਰਟ ਜਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਣਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ 261 ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ। ਜੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਲੈ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਇੱਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਆਊਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਬਾਇੰਗ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਇੱਕ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਬਣੂਗੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕੁ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ? ਮਤਲਬ 240 250 ਦੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ, ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਵੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਹੁਤੀ ਐਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ?
Well, the thing is, once a stock starts coming down, I like to see it settle down. I like to see it go sideways.
ਜੀ
And that's when I like to buy the stock and see what's happening. Is the institutions buying? Okay, is accumulation happening on the stock? That's what you want to see when a stock is coming down, and wait and patiently. Right now, if you want to buy IBM, I would wait patiently.
ਜੀ, ਤਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਵੇਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਲਈ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਭਾਜੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆਪਾਂ IBM ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਕਾਫੀ ਹੋਰ ਸਟਾਕ ਵੀ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਬਣ ਰਹੀ ਆ। AEO ਸਟਾਕ ਆ ਭਾਜੀ, ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਈਗਲ ਆਊਟਫਿਟਰਸ। ਇਹ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 16% ਦਾ ਚੇਂਜ ਆਇਆ ਜੀ।
So this is in the retail sector. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ it's gonna turn around. ਅਸੀਂ
ਜੀ।
2 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਹੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਬਈ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਮਹੀਨਾ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੂਲੂ ਵਰਗਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਨਾਈਕ ਵਰਗਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੀਟੇਲ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਹੈਗੇ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਵੀਕ ਬਾਈ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਗਿਨੀ
ਜੀ।
around the $100 area. So this one here is starting to pick up too, and it's going to also pick up the Target. I think Target is still cheap. So if you like American Eagle Outfitters, I think Target is going to be even better performer and much safer stock as well. So this one is rising. $1.09 is very cheap, but there are Target. It's a $100 plus stock, but I like Target better if you're looking in the if you're looking around, if you're looking in the retail sector. I think Target is still very cheap stock. Again, like I said, I like to see this thing happen. As the stock was coming down, I like to see the stock go flat and then buy it. But again, the Target is one I would buy right now.
ਜੀ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਭਾਜੀ। ਨਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਕੁਇਕਲੀ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਜੀ, ਨਾਈਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਬਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ। ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ।
Nike is another retailer stock that's been coming down a lot. So nice accumulation distribution right there. They're right there up to the upside. Can it continue to the upside? I think the retail sector is getting better and cleaner. And plus ਜੇ ਇੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਅਗਸਤ ਸਤੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੀਟੇਲ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਨਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੇਲਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਅਗਸਤ ਸਤੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਨਾ ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨਵੰਬਰ ਦਸੰਬਰ, ਇਹ 3 ਮਹੀਨੇ 'ਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੇਲਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ। So I think the next 6 months look pretty bright for the retail sector.
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੀ, ਤਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਗਸਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਟਾਕਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਜੀ, ਫਿਰ ਥੋੜੇ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਵੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਵੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਕਾਫੀ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਗਏ ਜੀ। ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਸਟ ਵਨ ਤੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆ, ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ SPDR S&P 500 ETF home builders, as interest rates are coming most likely, is it good to buy the ETF for short mid term? Please analysis ਕਰਿਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ।
Okay, you're talking about SPY, I think. And SPY is sitting with the ES futures. If the market is hitting all-time highs, so is this one. It contains 500. If you're not going to buy, if you're not going to do research, you don't have time to do anything, then this is the one that everybody usually says buy, because eventually, look, it went down to 21% to the downside, and look where the stock is today. This is an ETF of the S&P 500, so the market has come to the all-time highs, so has the SPY. And if you want, you can buy this stock at any time, or this ETF at any time. It's and hold it for long term. It will continue going to the upside.
ਜੀ। ਤੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਜੀ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਚੈੱਕ। ਗਗਨਦੀਪ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਜੀ, ਸ਼ੁਡ ਆਈ ਬੁੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟ ਇਨ ਟੋਯੋਟਾ ਔਰ ਵੇਟ? ਟੋਯੋਟਾ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਦਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਇੰਗ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਗੇਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ। ਬਾਕੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ।
So Toyota Motors lifted off because they got a deal. They're 15% tariff on the Toyota Toyota cars. And
ਜੀ
like I said, when they got a deal with the Japanese, they put 15% tariff on their cars, but they're still charging like 25% on the Canadian and the Mexican. Those cars are made here in North America and in the US. And actually, if you look at Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, they all filed a motion. Hey, how come they're getting a deal? We're making cars here, we're providing the job in North America, and you're charging us 25%. So something's gotta give here. They got a deal here with and the Japanese. That's why this stock is up. Should you book a profit? I think it's a good news for this stock. I think it will continue to the upside. I kind of liked it buy way back here when I said this thing was a buy. I think it's still. I think can it get back to this level here? Yes, I think it can.
ਜੀ ਭਾਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਾਸਟ ਈਅਰ ਨਵੰਬਰ ਸਪਟੈਂਬਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਇਹ
Yeah,
ਸਟਾਕ
right here. I remember right about here. Yeah.
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹਨੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ 180 ਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਸਟਾਕ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਭਾਈ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੈਜ਼ਿਸਟੈਂਸ ਏਰੀਆ ਬਣਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ 200 ਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ 193 ਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਹੋਣਾ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਵੀ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਭਾਈ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੀਆਂ 7 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਮੰਥ ਫਸਟ ਵੀਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਭਾਈ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਹੋਰ ਉੱਪਰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੈਪ ਅਪ ਓਪਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਾਫੀ 170 ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਗੈਪ ਫਿਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਹੁਤਾ
No, I think it's going higher. I think it's very easily stock can go higher because now they got a 15% tariff on it. Consistency where Toyota is going. So
ਜੀ
I think this is a beautiful breakout here. If you're looking at around 201, around the $200 range, if it breaks up here. But I still would. Excuse me. I would own the stock from here. I think it's nothing but upside to it.
ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੇਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਠੰਡ ਜੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਉਂਦੇ ਜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਊਜ਼ ASML ਫॉर DC ਔਰ ਬਾਇੰਗ ਐਟ ਕਰੰਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਇਨ ਯੂਰ ਵਾਚ ਲਿਸਟ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਐਨਾਲਿਸਿਸ ਐਂਡ ਟੈਲ ਮੀ ਯੂਰ ਵਿਊ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਐਨਾਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਜੀ ਸਟਾਕ ਨੂੰ
ASML is the chip makers. For you looking at stocks in this sector, I would look more towards I think TSM because if you look at all these stocks, Nvidia, you look at they have all gone to the upside. They went up. Even AMD has run nicely to the upside. I think these stocks are sitting at the top right now. I don't like to chase stuff. I think right now we would be chasing in this sector. So
ਜੀ
I would wait patiently. Take a look at let me show you some of the charts. If you look at AMD, it has run really nicely to the upside. Again, look how you're chasing it right now if you are buying these stocks. Same thing with Nvidia and NVDA. Nvidia has come out said they don't have any more H20 chips, and that could be a little bit of downfall to the Nvidia as well. But again, they're chasing a sector that has been hot. So go look at the sectors that haven't been performing, and some of the telcos are very cheap. We talked about Thales, and we also talked about real estate for the last 2 months. So I
ਜੀ
think if you look at real estate and telecom, you'll find some good stocks.
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ ਟੈਲੀਕਾਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਿਟੇਲ ਵੀ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਐਡ ਆਨ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਭਾਈ ਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ SPDR ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਰੀਅਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਤੇ ਫੋਕਸਡ ਆ ਜੀ ਇਹ ETF
Uh,
SPDR
Sorry, I'm missing.
SPDR ਇਹ ਚੈੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਭਾਈ ETF ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਜੇ ਸ਼ੋ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਾਫੀ ਸ਼ੋ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਦੇ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ
SPDR.
ਜੀ ਇਹ DR ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਡਿਸਪਲੇ ਕਰਦਾ ਜੀ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਲੱਭ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਭਾਈ ਪਰ ਇਹ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਬੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟਿਕਰ ਸੀ
Maybe he's talking about spiders or I don't know. Sorry about that. If you can make a little more clarity on that, even a company name would be nice.
ਜੀ ਟਿਕਰ ਸਿੰਬਲ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ SPDR ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਪਏ DRF ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਦਾ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਸੇਮ ਜੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਸੀਗੇ ਉੱਧਰ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ASML ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਆਇਆ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਵਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਭਾਜੀ ਰਿਵਿਊ ਕੋਲ
KOHL has been running up on a short interest. This stock's been shorted a lot, and basically KSS is that's why this stock has gone up to the upside very quickly. Stock has been doing quite, it's okay. It's a retailer in the U.S.
ਜੀ
It had beaten up. It actually was coming up nicely, and this stock had 46 to 50% stocks that were shorted, and all of a sudden a lot of buying starting happening. And when the buying starts happening, what do the short sellers do? Because short sellers losing a lot of money, they start buying the stock back up. And when they
ਜੀ
buy the stock back up, this is what they did yesterday in the last 2 days. Again, the stock now has come back down nicely, but it kind of drove a lot of the short sellers out of the market. So, what percentage is still left on this stock? That is, quickly, I'll take a look at how much is it still short. So, if you look at KSS, what a percentage? It's still quite a bit short. Looking over over 26%, the stock is still short. So maybe yesterday, maybe when they were driving up, maybe more shorts came in. But still, it's not nearly what the 47 to 50% was. It's actually a lot less today because a lot of buying has happened here. So again, it's being played technically on the chart. It's not nothing to do with anything else. But again, I think it's a pretty cheap stock. But it was pretty good back down here. But the earnings are pretty good. The dividends pretty good. Just revenue still good. Can it turn around? I think it can. But again, we are talking about retail sector. There's a lot of competition in it.
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਲਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਭਾਈ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਆਇਆ ਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਆਕਾਸ਼ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਭਾਈ ਫੇਵਰਿਟ ਸਟਾਕ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਟੀਡੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਵਰਸਾ ਬੈਂਕ ਟੀਡੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਭਾਈ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਤੇ ਵਰਸਾ ਬੈਂਕ
If you look at the financials overall, ਜੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਕੱਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ
ਜੀ
ਸੋ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਕੱਟ ਕਰੀਏ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਮਹੀਨੇ 2 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਟਸ ਗੋਣਾ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਥੀਸ ਬੈਂਕਸ ਸੋ TD ਬੈਂਕ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਬਾਕੀ ਬੈਂਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ benefit ਹੋਊਗਾ long term view on the banks is still they're still going to perform pretty well as long as we get interest rate cuts and I think the TD is sitting at about $103 and if you've been holding it since 75 I think you can still hold on to it.
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਵਨ ਭਾਜੀ ਵਰਸਾ ਬੈਂਕ
It's the same pretty much you can hang on to it because interest rates are coming down and these banks are still going up.
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਚਰਨਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਾਈ ਜੀ ਯੂਐਨਐਚ ਅੱਜ ਹੋ ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਕਰ ਗਿਆ ਸੇਮ ਪ੍ਰੀਠੰਡ ਜੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਈ ਜੀ ਯੂਐਨਐਚ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ ਰਿਵਿਊ ਆ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਗੁੱਡ ਟਾਈਮ ਟੂ ਬਾਈ ਯੂਐਨਐਚ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਈ
So this is insurance companies and a lot of Medicaid cuts happened in the last budget and that's why this stock has gone further to the downside. Is it a good stock? Yes. People still going to need insurance, right? Healthcare insurance in the U.S. So UNH is pretty good at the bottom around 282. It's around 292. Remember, this is a $300 stocks. It goes up and down $10. So I think these insurance companies will be a buy at a certain place, but I'm not right now. I think they're still trying to struggle. And plus, remember, at the end of this month, I mentioned many times Donald Trump is going to be going after pharmaceutical companies that are importing into the U.S. and he wants to lower those prices against them with the tariffs or put tariffs on them, which is going to actually increase the price, and which of these insurance companies are going to have to dish out higher benefits, and that's going to cost them money. But the one I really like is not UNH. I like Humana. I've mentioned many times.
ਜੀ
Humana is the one I really like, and this company can turn around to the up. It's already nicely sitting at a nice port, so this is the one I would. If you want to buy between the two, I think I would buy this one.
ਜੀ ਹਮਾਰਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਬੈਟਰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਈ ਸਟਾਕ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਐਵਰੀਡੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਆ ਗਈਆਂ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਹੈਲਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਸਟਾਕ ਹੋਰ ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਕਰ ਗਿਆ ਵੇਟ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਚ ਆ ਜੀ ਬਾਕੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੋਰ ਸਟੇਬਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਇੰਗ ਬਾਰੇ ਫੇਸ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਲਵਦੀਪ ਸੰਧੂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ ਭਾਜੀ VUG or VGT which one is better?
I think he's talking about Vanguard funds. VUG. Vanguard Growth ETF. Let me
ਇਹ ਜੀ
pull that.
VUG ਤੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ VGT।
Yeah. So this is a growth fund. It's going with the market. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ market ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ high ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ do you think that this market gonna continue? You can hang on to this one, right? But it basically it's a growth stock. As long as the market keeps going up, this is gonna keep going up. If the market turns around, this is gonna fall too. So if you have a lot of profit, I would be starting to take a little bit of profit out of that. So again, it just runs with the market. So VGT is another Vanguard fund. This one is in the technology information, same thing, is sitting at all-time highs. Again, if you think the NASDAQ is going to keep going up, I would hang on to it. But if the market comes back the other way, it will turn around to the downside.
ਜੀ ਤੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਭਾਜੀ। ਕਲੀ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ, ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਈ ਵਿਸ਼ ਟੂ ਪਲੇ ਡੇਟਾ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ, ਇਜ਼ देयर ਐਨੀ ETF ਫੋਕਸਡ ਔਨ ਇਟ, ਸਪਲਾਈ ਇਜ਼ ਲੈਸ ਦੈਨ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਐਜ਼ ਪਰ ਗੂਗਲ CEO, ਸੇਮ ਇਜ਼ ਐਪਲੀਕੇਬਲ ਫॉर ਆਲ ਡੇਟਾ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਕਲਾਊਡ ਸਟਾਕਸ। ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਜੋ ਡੇਟਾ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ETF ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦਾ, ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਐਨੀ ETF ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ?
Yeah, I don't have an ETF in front of me. We did discuss about data centers. The only problem with data centers right now, they need a lot of energy, and a lot of these companies are signing contracts with. You saw Meta sign one, you saw Google sign one, you saw Microsoft sign one contract with 20-year leases on power supplies. So the biggest negative out there right now is where they're going to get the energy on these. Yeah, ETFs are good. The data center is good. They're going all over the place because we are using. In the future is the AI. Future is the robotics. So
जी।
these stocks, especially data centers, are good. They're gonna need lots of energy. So and one of the things positive I see for Canada, we got lots and lots of energy. We could see a lot of data centers opening up in Canada, where Canada could really benefit out of this technology. So I would be, we have to look at some good ETFs, actually find some, and we will post when we get some. I think that's a good idea.
ਜੀ
Nice one.
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ, ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਜੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਡੇ। ਤੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਭਾਜੀ ਹਰਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਆਇਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਭਾਜੀ, TSLL ਇਹ ਭਾਜੀ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਦਾ ਸਟਾਕ ਆ ਜੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ETF ਵਗੈਰਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। 2x ਰਿਟਰਨ ਆ ਤੇ ਸੇਮ ਡਾਊਨ ਵੀ 2x ਆ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਅਵੋਇਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਟੈਸਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਲੇਟਾਈਲ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ।
Yeah, it's if you can this is a trader stock. This is what day traders trade. So if you're a day trader and you're trading this stock, that's good. But again, it's not for anybody that wants to invest money in it. So I would not invest money in this one.
ਜੀ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ 2x ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, 3x ਲੈਵਰੇਜ ਵਾਲੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ETF ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਟਾਕਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਡੇ ਟ੍ਰੇਡਿੰਗ ਲਈ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੇਬੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵੀਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਲੈਣਾ, ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਸਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੌਂਗ ਟਰਮ ਇਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਔਰ ਡਿਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।
ਜੀ
ਨਹੀਂ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ।
ਅੱਧਾ ਰਹਿ ਜੇ ਸਟਾਕ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ, ਜਾਂ ETF ਅੱਧੇ ਵੀ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਾਫੀ ਡਾਊਨ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਡੇ ਟ੍ਰੇਡਿੰਗ ਲਈ ਸਹੀ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵੀਕ ਤੱਕ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ 1-2 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਲਈ। ਬਟ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੌਂਗ ਟਰਮ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਲਈ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ, ਫਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਅਵੋਇਡ ਕਰੋ। ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਸਟਾਕ ਦਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਾਫਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਟਾਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ। ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਇਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਭਾਜੀ CMG ਬਾਏ ਲੈਵਲ 'ਚ